I do want to give the listener a tool that they can use to pretty much well refute all charges of racism against the Bible. I came up with this acronym. I call it Jaybird. The J in Jaybird is the Jews were not white. This alone answers a lot of questions because what happens is people read the Bible and they assume that the Jews were white and everybody else was black, and that whenever they see the Jews pitted against anyone else, they assume this is white people pitted against black people. And that's simply not true. There are a number of reasons to reject the idea that the Jews were white. And when I say white, I mean like European white. One, it was founded by Abraham, who was from the land of Ur, which is modern day Iraq. So the father is from what would be today the Middle East. Second, two of the tribes of Israel were actually African. When Joseph went into Egypt, Joseph married a priestess in Egypt. From his union with that priestess, African priestess, Egyptian priestess, came Manasseh and Ephraim. Manasseh and Ephraim became two of the tribes of Israel. So two of the tribes of Israel were African. Another thing is that the Israelites were slaves in Egypt for 400 years. And we know that they were intermingling with people because we know that they intermingled with people when God told them not to. So we know they were intermingling with people here. And this was also at a time when we know that the Cushites, now Cush is what we would consider today like the African of Africa, Ethiopia, Sudan, southern Egypt. So we're talking about really, really dark skin. And it was at this time that the Cushites had a big migration into Egypt. And so we know also that when the Israelites came out of Egypt, the Bible tells us they came out with a mixed multitude. Well, who was this mixed multitude? It had to be the Egyptians and the Cushites, certainly. So coming out of Egypt, this whole notion of Israel included all of these type of people. And we know that they were intermarried with them because we have a prime example in the Bible of Moses marrying a Cushite himself. So and there's no reason to think that that was an isolated incident. So that's J in the Jaybird. B-I, biblical interpretation. Whenever you look at the Bible, you have to read the Bible in context. Now, a lot of these things we may discuss, people are reading stuff into the scripture that is not there. They are assuming stuff that is not there. When you read the Bible, you have to understand the historical, grammatical background of the passage. What did it mean to the people that it was actually written to? We can't take things that we believe today or our understanding of things today and then superimpose them on the people there, because you won't get an understanding of what the Bible is actually saying. So in the context, when we look at the Bible, the context is not just the particular passage. It's also the book, and it's also the Bible in general. So it has to be consistent with the context of the Bible. That's the BI. The R is race is not a biblical concept. This is a big one. Whenever we read race into the Bible, we're already off on the wrong foot. Race was invented in our recent history. Race is a way that man has used to classify other men, but it is not something that even existed at the time of the Bible. So to even look at the Bible using race, you're already getting off on the wrong foot. And the D is the difference between Christians and Christianity. Christians and Christianity are two different things. Christians do things that aren't Christian. Christians do things that the Bible specifically forbids. Just because Christians do it doesn't mean that it's Christian. Christian is what the Bible teaches, what the Bible affirms, what Jesus teaches, what Jesus affirmed. That is what Christians, not what Christians do. So now that I've laid out these tools, we can look at some of these specific examples.